Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of the Visionry Presents. My name is Greg and I'll be your host. As you can see, we're going to explore the ever popular CBD experience today. We'll learn just what CBDs are, what you're actually getting when you try or use CBDs, find out the difference between marijuana and hemp, and discover the known benefits and side effects of CBD. And as always, I'll try to make things as understandable as I can. So let's just jump right in. Excuse me. CBD equals cannabidiol. Well, you're going to get the specs. First, let's start by clarifying that when you hear or read that something contains CBD, it actually means that it contains cannabidiol, which is a type of cannabinoid. With that said, you're probably asking, okay, Greg, just what is a cannabinoid? Well, to answer, cannabinoids are the active chemical compounds found naturally in the seeds, leaves, stems, and stalks, flowers of the cannabis plant. They're also called phytocannabinoids because they're derived from plants. And they're able to interact with our body because they mimic our natural endocannabinoids, which are the cannabinoids that are made by our own bodies. Well, we're all probably familiar with the most well-known cannabinoid called THC. That's the illegal cannabinoid because it's a psychoactive agent and it gets you high and it makes you feel good. Can't have that. I guess the government doesn't want us to feel good. And THC is tetrahydrocannabinol. So it's another cannabinoid, but it's the chemical composition that changes the name a little bit. But CBD, on the other hand, is a non-intoxicating cannabinoid and does not get you high. It does offer impressive health benefits. That's why it is currently and finally receiving so much attention in the medical circles. That's something we'll explore later in the presentation. CBD oil is simply an oil that contains the cannabinoid CBD. The CBD is extracted from cannabis hemp plant. It is then combined with a carrier oil. This carrier oil helps to efficiently deliver the CBD to the bloodstream. It can be a topical agent, it can be in a capsule form, edibles, or even oil for a vape, like people do vape pens now for nicotine addiction and that kind of thing. So with that said, next let's take a look at our own endocannabinoid system. So our endocannabinoid, excuse me, our endocannabinoid system, the ECS. So here's just a little sidebar to help you better understand how and why CBD works. So as mentioned, we have in our bodies what's called the endocannabinoid system or the endogenous cannabinoid system. Endo means within the body. And without that, when we ingest cannabis, it wouldn't get us high or have some of its therapeutic benefits. If our bodies didn't already have that biological system that's capable of interacting with the cannabis active chemical compounds like CBD and THC, we wouldn't be able to get any effects. Our own endocannabinoid system serves a vital purpose for our health and well-being because it regulates some key aspects of our biological and physiological processes, including appetite, pain sensation, mood, and memory. Also, the ECS system also plays a crucial role in our body's homeostasis. And homeostasis is defined as the state of steady internal conditions maintained by living things, such as body temperature and fluid balance. The endocannabinoid system is widespread throughout the animal kingdom and can be found in all vertebrate species. There are many cannabinoids produced, and as with any biological process, it gets complicated, so I'm not going to try to get into all that today anyway. But interestingly, one of our endocannabinoids is called anandamide. A CBD can also increase the amount of anandamide in our body, which is known as the bliss molecule. And the name is taken from the Sanskrit word ananda, which means joy or bliss or delight, just for a little etymology. And anandamide plays a role in the neural generation of pleasure and motivation. And it's also found in chocolate, and that's why we love chocolate so much. All right, so let's get back on topic. The plant is called hemp. Down here. Cannabis is one of the oldest known crops of mankind, which have records of cultivation dating back thousands of years. The plant is also known as hemp, although this term is often used to refer to only varieties of cannabis that are cultivated for non-drug use. But hemp is also defined as cannabis sativa plant, which consists of less than 0.3% of THC, so you don't get high from it at all, no matter how much you ingest. Now here's a little slide that shows you the little difference here. So here you have the cannabis up here. That's the whole thing. When it branches off into hemp, low levels of THC that will not produce a psychoactive effect. And then on the other side, we have marijuana, which is high levels of THC that produce a psychoactive effect. Cannabis has long been used for hemp fiber, hemp seeds, and their oils. Hemp leaves were also used as vegetables and juice. There's also medicinal purpose that were used, and also as a recreational drug. Who would guess? Industrial hemp products are made from cannabis plants selected to produce an abundance of fibers. So stick around, because I've got some hemp fun facts at the end of the presentation. Fill you in on a little bit of that. Cannabis is widely accepted as being indigenous to and originating from Central Asia, with some researchers also including Upper South Asia as its origin. And to be clear, if you're wondering, hemp and marijuana are not the same thing. Cannabis is a family of plants with two primary classifications. There's cannabis sativa, which most people know, that gets you energized and high. And then there's cannabis indica, which is more relaxing in its effects. And I got a little slide that gives you a little idea on that. Let me blow this up for you so you can see it a little bit. So for those that you indulge and may have trouble distinguishing between sativa and indica, sativa, here's a little easy way to remember. Sativa is sunny sativa, best for daytime use, produces a heady and cerebral high, gives an uplifting sensation, helps with focus and creativity, and its medical uses include depression, attention deficit disorder, fatigue, and mood disorders. And then we move to indica, couch, the best for evening use, provides a body high, gives a relaxing sensation, helps with appetite and relaxation, and its medical uses include pain and nausea relief, stress and anxiety relief, insomnia and muscle spasm relief. So, with that said, now let's take a look at the benefits of CBD, but first, just a little info on some dosing. So as you can see, we have we got a few general guidelines here for your dosage, how much for general health, chronic pain, and sleep disorders. But these are just a general guideline, and as with any type of drug or medication, it is best to consult your doc before taking anything, since there can be interactions and side effects which we'll be discussing. As with any drug or medication, there are many factors to your own personal experience, your genetics, your body constitution, those kind of things, and your Cytochrome P450 variants, which we'll talk about next. But first, but first let's take a look at the benefits of CBD. Now, I got a little slide here for you. And again, with any type of drug, it's best to consult your doctor before taking anything, since there can be side effects, drug interactions, and the drug interactions is what we'll speak about this afterwards. So CBD hemp oil has become very popular with people suffering from various health issues, including chronic pain and inflammation, arthritis, sleep disorders and insomnia, health and stress and depression, some skin conditions, low appetite, and poor metabolic function, especially in AIDS patients and people that have a weaker immune system. Now, if we look up here, we talk about anticonvulsants. So there's strong evidence for treating epilepsy and the associated seizures, and there is significant scientific evidence supporting it. You might have heard of the CBD Charlotte's Web that was made for a girl with some serious seizure activity. All the medications in the world didn't do anything for her, and when this family that grows marijuana medically for the state of California in Humboldt County in Northern California came up with this, and this poor girl, she like 3 years old, and she had seizures for probably 2.5 years of her life. And once she started on this Charlotte's Web oil, she went from 30 seizures a day to maybe 1 a week. It was amazing. People had to start to go out there because they couldn't bring that medication back here. And I can see it works as an antiemetic, which means it will help with nausea and vomiting. Cannabidiol has antipsychotic effects for diseases like schizophrenia and bipolar. It works as an antioxidant because it decreases the occurrence and severity of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and Huntington's disease. Some clinical trials suggest that CBD could be effective in treating symptoms of anxiety, particularly social anxiety, and help with depression issues. It also helps with, it also works as an anti-inflammatory for disorders like Alzheimer's, Crohn's disease, fibromyalgia, and of course uritis. And if you're not aware, the suffix itis on something means that it's an inflammation, that it causes inflammation, like arthritis, dermatitis on your skin, hepatitis, inflammation of your liver, ulcerative colitis, that has to do with your colon and your intestinal tract. There's also anti-cancer properties that have been found along with CBDs. Like they found that it can shrink brain tumors. It helps with breast and colon cancer. There's also that helps with some different types of pain management, a lot of neuropathy. It helps with that. Excuse me. And it's also phyto and fluffy friendly, so your pets can benefit as well. But with all those benefits, CBD also has side effects. So let's take a look at those. Okay, so we talked about, I mentioned this Cytochrome P450 gene inhibitor, and this is part of how the side effects of CBD works. So let me ask you, have you ever wondered why maybe you've seen that some of the medications that you've taken say no grapefruit or no grapefruit juice? Well, that cannabis is like that. It interferes with what's called your Cytochrome P450 genes, and that's a gene that's in your liver that produces enzymes to process different medications. So the human body uses the Cytochrome P450 enzymes to process medications, but because of inherited or genetic traits that cause variations in the enzymes, the way they're made, medications will affect people differently. Cytochrome P450 testing, which you can get through your doctor, gives clues about how well your body processes the drug by looking at specific enzymes. The results can be classified according to how fast or slow you metabolize a specific medication. Now, I had this test done. It's pretty simple. They do a cheek swab. It gets sent away, and then you get a whole big list of all the different medications that are out there, and it tells you what type of a metabolizer you're on. I had it done. I was on this medication, and it didn't seem to be working well for me. And when this was brought to my attention about this, I had it done, and I ended up changing my medication, and it worked really well. So to continue, the Cytochrome P450 system has emerged as an important determinant in the occurrence of several drug interactions, that can result in drug toxicities, show reduced pharmacological effects, and adverse drug reactions. This testing can show if you are the first is either a poor metabolizer, where you process certain drugs more slowly than normal. The medication can build up in your system and increase the likelihood that the medication will cause side effects. You might still be able to benefit from that medication, but at lower doses. Nextly, it could find that you would be an intermediate metabolizer. If you have reduced enzyme function in processing certain drugs, you may not process some medications as well as other people, as well as other people do, who are classified as normal metabolizers for that drug or medication. If you find that there might be where you are found to be a normal metabolizer for certain medications or drugs, it shows that you process those certain medications normally. You're more likely to benefit from treatment and have fewer side effects than people who don't process those particular medications well. Or you could be found that some medications you're an ultra metabolizer. In this case, medications leave your body too quickly, often before they can have a chance to work properly. You likely need higher doses than usual of that kind of medication. So we'll look down here. Cannabis can interfere with antidepressants and antibiotics just by this way, through the Cytochrome P450 gene. So when cannabis can interact with antidepressants, what can happen is it can cause high levels of antidepressants in your blood, and that can lead to what's called Serotonin Syndrome. Well, serotonin is a neurotransmitter, and if you can remember back to the addiction presentation, we talked about dopamine as a neurotransmitter. Well, this works to boost your mood and antidepressants, and but serotonin syndrome is a potentially fatal but easily treated side effect of many antidepressants. CBD can also impact your blood pressure significantly. Right here, lowers your blood pressure. A study of adult males found that a dose of about 600 milligrams can effectively lower blood pressure, but also maintain a lower blood pressure during stress times. CBD also has blood thinning properties. So for folks that are on blood thinners, you need to be cautious with this. Don't forget, you got to talk to your doc about these when you decide to take something else. Then there's the thing about Parkinson's disease. Research suggests that high doses of CBD might make muscle movement and tremors worse in people with Parkinson's disease. CBDs can also raise your internal blood pressure, blood temperature. The dry mouth sensation associated with CBD will also fade as your body adjusts. So although CBD may seem rather benign and harmless because it's a natural product and has all kinds of benefits, it's still not without its side effects, so some that may be dangerous. Now that we have the seriousness part over, let's take a look at some of those fun facts that I spoke of. So here we go, the Hemp Fun Facts. Hemp's been used for all of these things and more. Well, let's take a look and see what we have here. So hemp produces more pulp per acre than timber on a sustainable basis and can be used for every paper quality. And before it was made illegal, it was used for paper all the time. The process is a lot simpler and a lot easier and less polluting than the now wood pulp. Kimberly-Clark, a Fortune 500 company, you've probably heard of it at one point in time, has a mill in France which produces hemp paper preferred for Bibles and cigarette paper because it lasts a long time and it doesn't yellow. Because of its importance in sales for ships, the word canvas is rooted from the word cannabis. And rope was also made, hemp rope was made for ships as well. And hemp was a required crop in the American colonies. Also, it was legal back then to pay your taxes with hemp. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and other founding fathers grew hemp. Jefferson smuggled hemp seeds from China to France and then to America. Henry Ford's first Model T was built to run on hemp gasoline, and the car itself was constructed of hemp. Now, hemp makes a very, very strong plastic, very strong and durable plastic, even stronger than steel, and it makes it a lightweight. Lotus makes this special car, which it's all hemp, and it's very interesting how it's all done. Okay, so folks, that concludes today's presentation. I hope you found it enjoyable and educating. And let's take a look at what's coming up next on the Visionry. So as you can see, coming up on the Visionry Presents, we're going to talk about PTSD in your brain. We'll learn about how trauma causes PTSD. We'll understand how trauma changes your brain. And we'll learn the parts of the brain involved in these changes. And again, I'm Greg, and if you have any questions, comments, complaints, or suggestions, you can email me at thevisionry@pm.me. Thanks for your time, and I truly hope you learned a few things to help you choose any CBD products safely. Bye for now, and hope to see you soon with my next installment of the Visionry Presents. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.